Mixed emotions tonight as two storied teams take the court together for possibly the last time. Plus,
you're in your house on a cold night when you're startled by a loud noise. What is it? It's science. We'll explain.
Now, with coverage you can count on, this is a WNEM-TV5 First Warn 5 Winter Weather Alert.
Do you like it when it's this cold?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't get to go outside and play.
Get used to it, kid. The deep freeze we're experiencing is about to get deeper.
Here's a live look over Bay City and I-75 in Genesee County. Get ready to really bundle up mid-Michigan.
Thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm David Custer in for Sam.
And I'm Meg McLeod. Carrie has the night off. Chief Meteorologist Doug Moats is standing by with a forecast that's, in a word, harsh.
Yeah, as a forecaster, your tone generally changes in the event of severe weather. Well, this is exactly that. Severe cold, extreme severe cold. In fact, it's going to be with us through the entire weekend. Now, tonight, one of the things that was going on was that we were seeing a little scattered snow, but it was that system that sort of held in the cold air, the warm air, I should say, keeping us slightly warmer at 20 degrees in Midland, 21 in Flint. Snow still falling in those areas. 19 in Saginaw, 20 degrees in Bay City right now, but it feels like temperatures that are a lot lower. Here's where the snow is right now. We're starting to see that taper off and move to the south of Genesee County and Lapeer counties into Oakland County tonight, while the rest of the area like the Thumb and into the Tri-Cities looking pretty good, at least in the short term. Now, the temperatures to start the day tomorrow are going to be in the teens and gradually fall off over the course of the day. As a matter of fact, we're likely to see near zero numbers by the late afternoon. We do have a wind chill warning that's in effect. There will be in effect tomorrow, a wind chill watch to talk about, and a winter weather advisory for parts of our area as well. So a lot of weather information to get to you, and we're going to do that coming up in about 10 minutes.
We'll hear popping and cracking and groaning.
You've probably heard your house make some scary noises, a pop, a bang, a noise loud enough to wake you up in the middle of the night. Well, that's the weather teaching you a lesson in physics.
Houses are made of all different materials: steel, concrete, vinyl, and all of these materials expand and contract as the temperatures change, causing the noise you hear. A local expert tells TV5 builders plan for that movement.
If it makes a little bit of noise, it shouldn't be a concern because that's the nature of the beast. It's made to do that.
He did say if you hear your roof creaking, that is something you should worry about.
With wind chills dipping to as low as -40 this weekend, be extra vigilant if you must venture out. It takes only half an hour to develop frostbite on exposed skin, something doctors see more often than they'd like.
The most common I see is unfortunately someone who's outside having a good time and they either fell in the snow or didn't realize how long they were in the snow. So sometimes you can see frostbite of the extremities.
Dr. Anani says toddlers and people 75 and older should avoid going outside altogether this weekend.
And Consumers Energy is offering ways to cut your energy bill while staying warm inside. Keep furniture and curtains from blocking your ductwork. Make sure that your meters are free from ice and snow. If you have radiators near outside walls, put aluminum foil between the radiator and the wall. And use your ceiling fan at low speed to push warm air around the room.
Tonight, like Flint Central and Flint Northern, or Bay City Central versus Bay City Handy, another intra-city rivalry may have bitten the dust. Arthur Hill played Saginaw High for possibly the last time. TV5's Andrew Keller was at that game. He joins us now in Saginaw. Drew.
Yeah, and the gym was absolutely packed here at the Saginaw High School for what could be the end to a historic rivalry. Of course, the Hill versus the High, a game that never disappoints.
High school sports can often be a rallying point. And in the city of Saginaw, the Hill versus the High is and has been for a very long time.
This is a rivalry that as kids you looked up to, wanted to play in, so to hear that it's possibly coming to an end, you know, it's tough.
Local NBA star Draymond Green, a former standout at Saginaw High and Michigan State, was in attendance at his old stomping grounds tonight for what could be the final matchup in this historic rivalry.
I can't think of a better way to celebrate than to be in an environment where everybody's coming together for a good cause.
Tonight's sellout crosstown game carried that same intensity of the games in the past. but also had an emotional feel to it. Financial issues and a drastic decline in student population in the last few years has forced the district to consider consolidation.
It's a sad reunion if it ended up that we closing after this game.
It's a crying shame that the board is doing this.
Bragging rights for the winner of this game have always been strong, and the reality that this could be the end isn't easy for some to swallow.
We brought out the best in each other, so it's going to be something that will really be missed. But ain't nothing like playing in this rivalry.
Now on Wednesday, the interim superintendent recommended the closure of Saginaw High School as a way to beat the district's deficit. Now, the school board, they could vote on this as soon as next week. As far as the highlights, the high-flying highlights that came from this game, I'm not going to give them away. You're going to have to stick around for Sports Extra for that. For now, live and local in Saginaw, Andrew Keller, WNEM-TV5.
Drew, thank you. New details on an I-team investigation on Mid-Michigan guardrails. Trinity's ET Plus guardrail system has passed the first 4 crash tests. However, the final 4 tests are still being analyzed. Safety advocates argue the guardrails impale vehicles on impact. A jury handed down a $175 million verdict against the company last October over suspected design flaws. All results of the retesting may be released in the coming weeks.
A win today for teachers who don't want to pay union dues. Their 10-year contract has been ruled illegal by a state commission. Teachers in Taylor passed the contract just before Michigan's right to work law took effect nearly 2 years ago. The Taylor Federation of Teachers will appeal that ruling. Residents in more than a dozen Michigan cities have voted to decriminalize marijuana. But some are saying, why stop there?
Yeah, should Michigan join several others that are now cashing in on recreational weed? In a special I-Team report, Faith Gantner looks at how advocates want to make that happen.
A lot of people are opening up about it. You know, they see like the health benefits.
More states are blazing new trails and riding high on big business from marijuana. 4 states, Colorado, Washington, Oregon, and Alaska, and Washington, D.C. have now legalized recreational weed.
To date, everything suggests that our regulatory system is beginning to work.
For the last year, many eyes have been on Colorado, the first to regulate and tax cannabis.
This is going to be all of our marijuana here.
The Centennial State is expected to bring in nearly $50 million in taxes from pot in the first year. The I-Team wanted to know whether it makes sense for Michigan to get a taste of that Rocky Mountain high.
We think the example has been excellent in Colorado, and we would love to see it replicated here in Michigan.
Chuck Ream is an advocate with the Safer Michigan Coalition. The group has led the push on a local level, helping to get voters in 14 Michigan cities to decriminalize small amounts of pot. Those communities here in mid-Michigan include Flint, Saginaw, and Mount Pleasant.
You get economic activity and you get good jobs that are based in the state and in the community that are helping people. And this is the kind of economic growth that we really need and want.
Michigan voters chose to make medical marijuana legal in 2008, but Ream says several restrictions block patients from receiving all the benefits from the drug.
We can produce cannabis now that has almost no THC, but is still tremendously medically beneficial. And it's just with the freedom to experiment that we can produce things to help all different kinds of people in different situations, even things that don't get you high at all.
State Representative Jeff Irwin has worked on reforming Michigan's marijuana laws for several years. He argues that regulating pot, like alcohol, would also save the state time and money and would allow police to redirect their efforts to target more serious crimes.
We spend somewhere around $300 million a year on arresting, incarcerating, and trying people for possession of marijuana. So immediately we can save those dollars, we can redeploy those public safety resources to attacking real criminals.
Irwin plans to introduce legislation to legalize marijuana this spring. He insists bipartisan support is growing among lawmakers.
What I'm seeing here in Lansing is a big shift in people's attitudes towards this issue, both Democrats and Republicans. I'm seeing a big shift out in the public. I think that's one reason why so many additional cities have been decriminalizing marijuana possession at the local level.
But the future of marijuana in Michigan is still up in the air, with some of the state's top leaders wanting to throw out the idea of using it recreationally. Governor Rick Snyder has spoken out against local ballot measures to decriminalize, including Saginaw's last fall. And Attorney General Bill Schuette says the biggest reason he opposes recreational weed is to keep drugs out of kids' hands. If Irwin's proposal doesn't get off the ground, supporters plan to launch a ballot initiative, leaving the decision up to you, the voters, as early as next year.
We're likely to see a bubbling up of concern from citizens because public opinion, once again, is moving very, very fast on this issue. The public is out front of the politicians on this issue. And I predict that if the legislature doesn't do something, we're going to see a citizen initiative before too long.
With this I-Team report, Faith Gantner, WNEM-TV5.
Now, according to a recent poll, 50% of Michigan voters say they'd support legalizing marijuana.
Tomorrow is a big day for sweethearts everywhere.
And the food most commonly eaten on that day may surprise you.
And a car crash sends 2 people to the hospital, but wait till you hear what they went through.